This is One-on-One. We are pleased to be joined by Nancy Kislin, who is the author of a compelling, powerful, and important book. It's called Lockdown, Talking to Your Kids About School Violence. He's also an adolescent and family psychotherapist. Good to see you.
Thank you so much for having me.
You know, I say fully disclose. I'm going to fully disclose. We have 4 children from 8, our daughter, 16, 14, and then a 26-year-old from my first marriage who's a teacher. All of them talk about this issue. All of them ask questions about it. First of all, what is the lockdown issue/problem as it relates to schools and parents and kids? What's not being shared here?
What's wonderful is that your kids talk about it. What I find is that so many children aren't talking about it at home, and many parents just don't know what it is. So So it is, we've come up with, as a country, ways we have to keep our kids safe, right? It's a dangerous world out there. How do we keep our children safe? So people came up with, okay, we need to do these monthly lockdown drills. In 32 states around the country, it's mandated that once a month there's lockdown drills.
It's the law.
In 32 states.
Okay, what happens, though?
So there's several kinds of lockdown drills. There's the most popular is called lockdown drill. Depending on the school, it'll either have a code red, it'll come over the loudspeaker, or you will hear lockdown, lockdown. And that's the code for the teacher to run to the door, open the doorway, gather any kids who are right around, lock the door, and go through the procedure. It all ends with 2 things happening. Either the children hiding in a broom closet under desks. Many children all across the country don't know if it's a drill or the real thing.
Wait a minute, hold on, wait a minute. Nancy, how do they not, I'm confused. How do they not know if it's a drill or a real? How is that not communicated?
Because there's a philosophy in our country right now that we need to put our children through this, that it's helpful for them if they don't know if it's a drill or the real thing, because they think it'll help prepare them in case when the shooter does come. As far as I found, there's no research supporting that, and I believe that it's unnecessarily traumatizing a generation of children.
But hold on, you're saying there's no evidence, clinical evidence, research to back it up, but public policy is based on it. The decisions in schools based on it. Based on what?
This is part of the conversation that I'm trying to have. Exactly that we need to bring in the emotional and mental health of our children. Yes, we need to keep our children safe. Yes, we need to have some kind of drills. But we also need to look at the traumatization that it's causing.
Are they being traumatized?
I totally believe that many children. For example, Isabel's mom came up to one of the programs where I was doing, and she told me this story, that her 15-year-old daughter was en route from the bathroom back to her classroom. Now, the teens are told what to do if you are in the bathroom. When a drill happens, you put your feet on the toilet and you hide in the stall. If you're in the hallway, you are to run to the nearest classroom and try and get into that classroom. The problem is that the teachers are instructed that open the door to the hallway, gather any children that are right there, and then lock the door.
What happens if a kid is banging on the door and the teachers lock the door and told not to let anyone in? There's a disconnect.
Exactly. So Isabel went to several doors, and when the drill was finally over, she was found in a fetal, I get upset every time, she was found in a fetal position, crying hysterical, and has not returned back to school. I know this as an example because I work with teens and children every day in my practice, and I see kids and I hear kids who are so anxious and so traumatized, but it's not hopeless. This is something we can help them.
We can change this. By the way, if you're listening on the audio side, Nancy Kislin is the author of a book called Lockdown, Talking to Your Kids About School Violence. She's a psychotherapist, adolescent and family issues. So what do we need to do? We're about to put a graphic up that gives some advice to parents, but what should public policy change? Should these procedures change, Nancy?
I think we certainly need to look into how are we and who are making these. But I think since this is the reality right now for millions of children, we need to, my message is to talk to these parents. You need to first know what these drills are. You need to find out, what is your school protocol? What are they based on? And how do you get informed?
So Nancy, I'm sorry for interrupting. Let's break this down. How to talk to your kids about school lockdown drills. Take a look. Share stories about the day. It opens up the conversation, not about the lockdown, just break down the day, right?
Right, like, oh, this happened to me in school today, and that way it takes the kid off the defensive and opens up a conversation, not a lecture, not my parent drilling me.
I'm curious about this one. Tell your children, I am here. I am here. But I am here, wait a minute, but they're in a drill. We're not really there.
No, what it is that I am here to talk to.
Okay.
And not only am I here to talk to, I am going to help you develop resiliency skills. Okay, you're going once a month and you're hiding in that closet and you're in 2nd grade or 15 and hiding under your desk. What is your kid doing? I go through in the book of how to teach your child basic mindfulness, breathing techniques, things that I have seen working with kids for years, that you give them something to do that grounds them, that feels like they have some sense of control. Is better than just not talking about this at all.
But Nancy, the other thing is there are a whole lot of parents who don't even know this is happening. A and B, you say, and I don't know, Georgette, is it in the second graphic? You say parents need to go assertively and have conversations with school officials about these drills. By the way, make it a priority. There it is, right there. Ask open-ended questions. What does that mean? I'm a student of questions. What's the difference?
How did you decide that it's helpful to have once-a-month drills? More important, how did you decide that your kids are not going to be told that it's a drill? And 3, a big one is, please email the parents at the end of the day that there was a drill, so that when you pick up your children from school, please know that your kid might have been hiding for 45 minutes in a cubby, not knowing if they were going to live or die.
I just need to make this clear, then the public school system we are in, the school system does do that. The teachers directly do that, along with the superintendent office. Okay, and also stay in contact with the teachers, right?
Yes.
Because?
Well, this is also important, it's 2 answers there. One is, I believe that our teachers and our school administrations are not being trained in how to work with kids, how to use less traumatizing language, all kinds of things. So I feel terrible for the teachers. When I do teachers' workshops, the teachers are so traumatized themselves. We know that trauma is different for every different person, right? So we don't know who's being triggered, and how does that teacher even know how to help that child?
And we need to train teachers to do this as well.
That's part of it.
You've done important work. You're doing important work, and you made a difference in your time here in public broadcasting in FiOS and on the audio side. It's called Lockdown, talking to your kids about school violence, and the author is Nancy Kislin. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Come back anytime.
Thank you.
We'll be right back right after this.
One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating over 30 years of broadcast excellence. Funding for this edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been provided by RWJ Barnabas Health, the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey, the Northward Center, New Jersey Sharing Network, the Russell Berry Foundation, Suez, and by Wells Fargo. Promotional support provided by Insider NJ and by Meadowlands Chamber. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area.